not right, you're bringing it up instead of, come in with some solid evidence. Because sometimes, like you said, sometimes it may be just you second guessing or doubting your mate because of what you've been through.
No, that's real. That's well. It's literally a battle. It's a battle being in relationships just in general, because you're constantly wrestling with sometimes the old way of thinking and just trusting the new frequency. I'm big on frequency. So, okay, you don't always have to meet bad guys. You don't always have to go through bad relationships. It's kind of like Cat Williams say, okay, you say it ain't no guys out here good. He said it in a very explicit way. Ain't no guys out here good. Will change in so many ways who you are to pick up those guys that ain't good. And so it's definitely a frequency thing, because you start getting accustomed to what you're used to dating. And as soon as that comes on your radar, you think it's chemistry, but it's only comfortability. And you have to be able to decipher the two and say, all right, that's what I'm used to being with, but that's not really chemistry. That's comfortable. I'm used to dealing with a guy that's X, Y, and Z. But you really have to change your frequency and say, I want a very concrete, loving relationship in spite of what I've been through. And it goes back to what you said, Shamira, last night. You really had to take some time, some breaks, and say, all right, this relationship didn't work out. Let me do some time away. Jumping literally into a next guy is literally like eating a plate on a dirty plate. It already got shit on it. So
right,
it's like you can't even enjoy your meal because you got residue from. So it's like you have to clean your dashboard. You have to wipe away and heal from any past experience. And Derrick said, Keith, just because a relationship ended, sometimes it's not only because it's bad. Sometimes it just didn't work out. So you got to clean your dashboard of that too, and say, okay, I did like some qualities that he had, but it just didn't work out. So I really feel what y'all saying.
Yeah, I agree. I think time is really important, just for so many reasons. And one thing that you have said a minute ago was not taking the next thing into your next relationship. I think I noticed with myself before, growing up, not really knowing, you got to experience the bad to be experienced in life, just not really knowing and paying attention. A lot of times when you get out of a relationship or you get done to look at somebody and jump into the next thing without, giving yourself time, you're not necessarily looking out for your best interest. You know what I mean? Like, you're just looking to satisfy a small hunger that you're having, and you're carrying that baggage with you. So instead of you wanting somebody that you normally would want somebody to know how to communicate, but because your last mate didn't know how to communicate so bad, the minute somebody don't know how to communicate, or you know what I mean, you run into any little indiscrepancy, they didn't communicate well enough, they didn't explain themselves well enough, you're frustrated. You don't want to deal with that. You just got done dealing with that. You're not dealing with it again. And truthfully, this person might really be a good person. They just are having a hard time communicating because they're human. But you're not paying attention. You're not woke because you're angry from the last thing you was in. So it's so important. It's so important to give yourself time.
That's true. That's very true. What's your thoughts, Derrick?
Yeah, I speak in facts. I ain't got nothing to go against it.
No, because I feel like, in this day and age, to love, actually statistically, you live longer. You live longer when you're in loving relationships. Statistically, it hands down, it's confirmed. And we are wired to be in relationships, but because of the hardships of life, because the way the world is wired now, I think we have so much to battle against. I really think that. What's your thoughts?
Well, you're right. I mean, it's hard to love. It's tough to love when there's so much temptation and so much, so much negativity out there. Fighting the love and fighting the positive vibes. Sometimes, like you're a positive person might be put into a situation where it's nothing but negativity, and it's hard to add when everybody else is subtracting. So I mean, and for example, back in the day, you couldn't just get on your phone and look up whoever you wanted to look up. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't do that.
Right.
You you had to deal with her, and you had to actually go somewhere in order to see somebody, or you had to go somewhere to get in contact with them. Now it's like, oh, you want to make me mad? Okay, cool. I'm on Snapchat. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You know, so it's going to rest in 24 hours. I ain't worried about it.
So that's
you know.
Wow.
You know, but that's how some people think. They think that, okay, if you want to push me away, I got plenty of different options, and I'll take those options. Versus back in the day, there wasn't those options to take, so you had to kind of fight and make it work.
Yeah.
No, that Jamie Foxx, was it Jamie Foxx? No, Chris Rock said in his stand-up. I know I do a lot of references, but I learn a lot from a lot of people. I'm always in a posture of learning. But Chris Rock said in his stand-up recently on Netflix, he said him and his wife still would be married if they was married back in the day. He said, we're so dependent on the digital world. His wife started coming home and she like, you not asking how my day is. And in his head, he like, I liked all your pictures and all the posters that you posted about your day. And things got lost in translation. And he felt like, you know, if he had that, you know, if that wouldn't even be a hurdle to tackle, if it was back in the day where it was landlines. Once your landline was up, like, look, it was like you either had to wait till the person got home or wait till the person got home. It was no like, oh, I'm going to text them what they doing, where they at, or why they not answering their phone. It's a landline. Like, they not home yet. Like, it's different.
For sure.
How do y'all respond with not calling or not answering as quick as you anticipate? Do you snap? Do you find yourself battling with your insecurities? What's your thoughts?
I think it depends. It depends on the situation. If I'm dealing with somebody and we're in an actual full committed relationship and I text you, I'm not the type to get upset if you don't respond back to 1 or 2 texts or 3 texts or something. Especially if I know you're at work, I know you're busy or something. But if I text you 4 times throughout the day and you off or something, and I know I'm always reaching, you always got your phone in your hand, I'm going to be a little frustrated. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be a little frustrated. I can have a temper, so I might, you might hear a quick mouth. But it's not, it's not always, straight shot. Like, if you're at work or something, okay, I know you're at work, or, but certain situations, just be like, okay, now you're trying me.
What's your thoughts, Derrick?
I agree. I mean, at this day and age now, it's more, I am working a lot, so when back in the day, when I can, respond right away, I might have 5 to 6 appointments back to back to back, and I'm not going to be able to get back to you till a little bit later, and that comes more of, when you're secure in your relationship, you're not really, those little things that somebody that might be insecure about certain things, that you won't have those same feelings when you're like, okay, I know he's at work, I know he's handling his business, I see him when he get home, I know he reach out to me when he's free, it's kind of, you have to know your partner.
Yeah.
I think you said the key word is secure. That's so important. If you're secure in your relationship, if I don't hear from you all day, I'm secure. I'm good. I know you're not out doing nothing. Something must have came up. You're right. You're absolutely right.
No, that's very real. That's because it's almost like, I think sometimes we walk around with the presumptuous idea that their phone is always in their hand and within reach, and so.
Right.
The following call happens because I know you see my call, and he'd be like, "Whoa!" Like, and so then your emotions escalate. So you see it, and now you ignoring the second call. So all this is playing in your head, and you have a whole script in your head, and you ain't even talk to him. So by the time he answer, he be like, "Hello?" You be like, "Ah, blah, 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 blah," and you turn into this Tasmanian monster, and he like, "Yo, let me call you back. I'm at work. I don't know what just happened or what whirlwind you at, but I'm not there." And I think that happens in guys and girls, because I done seen guys flip. Well, she not answering the phone, but she could be with a client. Or I remember when I was in college, a guy like flipped on me. Oh my God. Like when I say he flipped, y'all. Like I was in my last semester at college, and I had this like 15-page paper to do. And I was completing it. And I had met him before in the beginning of the semester. And I always thought he was attractive because we took the train up, and he worked at Smith, Klein and Beach. And I went to college up in Wayne. So I just always thought he was attractive. So now we finally, you know, the laws of attraction, we ended up connecting and exchanging numbers. But it wasn't, the timing was off because I wanted his number, but I didn't have the time. So here it was, he was calling and texting me, right? And I would respond like maybe hours later, or I wouldn't pick up the phone or whatever like that. So finally I finished this 15-page paper, right? And I called him, and I was like all excited, and I was like, yes, I finally get to connect with him. He that guy that I've been digging, you know, even though I've been preoccupied with my, you know, my schooling. So I call him, and I'm like all excited, and we get into like a 5-minute conversation. And then all of a sudden the phone get quiet. And I was like, what's going on? So out of nowhere, he was like, you must be out your goddamn mind not calling me, not answering the phone, not da-da-da-da. Do you know who I am? Do you know how many cars I got? Do you know what properties I got in the city? And he was like, blah-da-da-da-da-da. I looked at the phone. I hung up on him. Good. He started calling repeatedly, but you say good. But on the flip side, when women do it, we be like, I know you ain't gonna hang up on me. But that's even another story because we be biased towards it. But I was sitting up there, I hung up on him, and I just confirmed in my head that wasn't the person for me. Was I wrong? Maybe. Because I could have communicated with him a little more, like, yo, I was interested in you, but timing is real off. But instead,
his response. Yeah, his response is what made me say, even in the moment of you being upset and frustrated with me, for you to go on and say, you know who I am, not the cards I got, you know, that says a lot about your character right there. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the boasting, and it's coming out when you're frustrated. So that means you feel that way. You
feel entitled, right?
Yeah, you coming off entitled. You coming off as I'm supposed to like you because you have all these things. That's not why I gave you. That's not why we started talking anything. I didn't know you had any other stuff. You know, his response would have made me be like, okay, I get you're frustrated, but a person just like me, all that stuff don't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's why I was good. Yeah.
It really don't matter. That's why I felt. I was like, that stuff don't matter, but it was like, I felt like in his eyes, he was saying, you missing up on a good opportunity, a guy that really got stuff going on for himself. But in my eyes, I was looking like, all right, that stuff really don't impress me. I meet guys all the time with their stuff going. I meet guys all the time that have good stuff going on for them. So that's not really impressive to me. But it was just like, everything was lost in translation. But I also brought that story up to say, sometimes silence breeds a whole storyline that ain't even close to reality. You be like sitting there, and females is good for it. We sitting up there mapping out, well, he must not want me. He must not know who I am. I'm that girl, you know, I could pull anything. The next day, you know, anybody jump in my DM. Who is you? And he'd be like, yo, you got to ease up and catch yourself like, all right, maybe he was preoccupied with work. Maybe he was talking to his mom. Maybe he was talking to his boss. And I think that's real in today's world because we assume so much. Because we assume that, okay, the phone is right there.
Well, I feel like they have to, like, for example, it's also about being aware of, you know, who your partner is, like I said before, because if you know, like, I know that if my girl texts me and I don't respond after a little bit, she's going to be worried. So I might back on her if I didn't get to her right then. Like, hey, babe, you know, I was in the session, you know, everything good. I'll let you later. You know, it's something simple. Or if she texts me back to back and then I don't respond, and then she calls me, I know that she's worried. So even if I'm busy, I'll be like, I'll pick up and say, hey, I'm with a client. I'll call you back. Or it's simple. That took 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
I was taking notes.
What you say, Shamir?
I said, fellas, take notes. Thanks